we should just touch on this briefly. I don't want to make too much of a big deal about this, but it's important for people to understand. Do we have a little bit of a clip from Pakman's thing? That's all we do now is we just watch Pakman's show and then we just do everything that he's doing. So I don't spend a lot of time looking at our statistics on YouTube because I'm busy and I don't know what to do with the statistics. And then I feel like I need these statistics. I should know them. They should mean something to me. And I look at them and I'm like, it's interesting to see the little bumps on the graph, but I don't really know what that means. But again, I think we mentioned this yesterday in the context of the Gavin McInnes scandal, McInnes Gate, where he allegedly called into David Pakman pretending to be just a random caller to convince Pakman to go on his new TV show. And because I had also been offered $5,000 to go on this show, on his show, I was interested in this. Again, I want to reiterate, if you didn't catch that piece yesterday because it was in the fun half, that I am open to going on Gavin McInnes' show, but it would have to be for $250,000. And that is my pre-negotiated rock bottom price. That's the best I can do.
I would do $50K.
There, okay.
Just putting it out there. And I would negotiate probably rock bottom 35.
I'll just take the 5.
I started at $1 million with myself, but I worked my way down to 250 because I really would do it for 250. But aside from that,
250, 35.
Well, the thing is,
Jamie texted.
If I had 250, I would pocket like $150 of that. Right. That's what we call when you get in that kind of money.
I get it.
I pocket $150
cool.
of that, and then I'd spend $100,000 to try and bury him on the SEO of his show, to make up for it. But
sure.
All right, be that as it may. So Pakman got in touch with me the other day, and he said, have you noticed over the past 5 months, I guess it was starting in March, that your suggested videos, the percentage of videos that are getting hits from suggested videos has gone down? And it took me a while to understand what he was talking about because, like I say, I'm not terribly adept at this stuff. But I went back and I looked, and it has been the case that the percentage of people who are finding our videos, who are sort of like leaning into finding us, has gone up relative to suggested videos, which are a function of the topic. And here, play this clip from Pakman where he explains what this is about.
Instead, CNN's YouTube channel, Fox News' YouTube channel, MSNBC's, and other legacy corporate media channels. Now, I don't want to redo the whole story because there's so much new data that I have for you today. And again, I could get destroyed by YouTube for doing this. But I have to tell you because what's going on and what we've uncovered is absolutely stunning. Just to refresh a little bit, our channel has been getting fewer and fewer views from YouTube's recommended video algorithm. When you watch videos on YouTube, YouTube suggests other things to watch alongside or below the video. The idea is to keep you watching as long as possible. Okay. We used to get a lot of recommended video views from YouTube's algorithm. I told you previously, I estimated that we had lost about 2 million views per month from this algorithm, recommending our videos more and more infrequently. That was a massive underestimate. There's a disturbing new metric I looked at. On YouTube, some of the people watching our videos, like anybody else's, some of the people are subscribers and some aren't, okay? Of course, you don't have to be a subscriber to a YouTube channel to watch the videos on that channel. We have lost millions of non-subscriber views per month over the last several months, and non-subscriber views are determined by YouTube's algorithm, okay? This graphic we're putting up on the screen is disgusting. Okay, the numbers of views.
All right, so basically, Pakman goes on to say that he has gotten information that his show, my show, in fact, not even, and I think Kyle Kalinski's, but not just shows on the left, all top independent news shows and I don't know how that's defined, over 500,000 subscribers or what, I don't know, have basically been pushed to the back of the line in the algorithm for the sake of pushing the cable television news shows to the front of the line when they cover issues. And this dynamic between subscribers and non-subscribers is the same that we've had. Now, I will say this. Because of the growth that we've had over the past year and a half, in January of 2018, we had 180,000 subscribers on YouTube. We now have, I think, 600,000, or
we're at 599 right now.
Oh, is that right? So I think we're almost at 600,000. We've had enormous growth on the show on YouTube. We have not seen dramatic downturn in our views because we've been growing in other ways. But and frankly, I'm still working on the numbers to get them specific. But had they not changed that algorithm, our growth would be enormous now. And look, obviously, YouTube has its own business strategy. And if they want to emphasize clips from CNN, put out by CNN or MSNBC or ABC or NBC or whatever it is their right to do so. It's another reason in my mind why you want to break up the monopoly that Google has with YouTube and feeding this vertical integration they have with advertising and search going into the videos. Because if you had competitors and you did not have the competitive advantage they have, and it's beyond a competitive advantage, to own all the advertising that supports this and to own the search functioning that supports this, there would be a lot more opportunity for people to find what they want. You can't go in to YouTube and say, I want to know about this story from an independent source, from a source that is not, and you know, we've talked about this. I think we talked about it quite a bit at Netroots. These cable news outlets, they filter out folks who are going to give a different perspective on things. And so they don't have to issue edicts more often than not to their hosts and whatnot, because everybody's of the same mind. And it doesn't occur to them to question some of the mainstream analyses. I got a story here from Politico about why Democrats' oversight machine is moving so slowly against Trump. And it says that they're having trouble staffing up. Now, I think there's some validity to it. But the bottom line is, if you dig a little bit deeper and talk to the right people, you can find out that, like, no, they could have staffed up earlier. Or they could take their resources and they could hire outside firms. And these Politico reporters, who I think are pretty decent reporters as far as they go, didn't ask the right people. Now, this story's never going to even make it to CNN or MSNBC, or certainly not Fox or whomever. But it's stories that we cover. But if you Google oversight, or you search on YouTube for oversight or whatever it is, you won't get to us as quickly. You got to be looking for us and then hear what we have to say. And so basically what YouTube has done is they have made it harder for us to break out of a ghetto that is defined by who we are rather than what we're talking about. So people can't find us when they're interested in a specific issue in the same way. They have to be interested in sort of us, and then they find out about these issues. Like I say, from a business standpoint, it hasn't, the only effect that it's had on us is that we're not growing in the same way that we would have. But the reason why we're on YouTube is to get access and to provide different information to people. To be honest with you, I don't know what you can do about it. Other than if you have an opportunity to go and like our YouTube stuff and subscribe to it and upvote stuff, that may help down the road. I don't know if YouTube is going to care about what a small group of people say in terms of the way they should go about this stuff. But any way you can support the show obviously helps. But I don't know if there's a direct way to do this. But I want to let you know this dynamic's out there because people have emailed me because they've seen, Pakman's thing, and I'm getting contacted by some reporters who want to know some information about it. So I just figured I'd put it out to you.
We get in a lot of trouble for doing this.
Probably not.
We're taking a huge risk. I would just like to say that I think YouTube's been extremely fair and helpful on the TMBS channel. I have criticisms of Google as a company and YouTube, but we're taking a huge risk here.
I can't wait for 8 years from now where all of those things that are almost jokes become completely
reality.
Not jokes at all.
Yeah, just sort of those things. Well, yeah, no, it would be.
It's like watching with you. It's like watching a Al Pacino movie or a Robert De Niro, where at one point they're just playing themselves 10 years.
Exactly.
10 years ago. All right, we're gonna take a quick break.
I think the TPP is actually really important for the future of the Pacific.
We've been trying
and
to do
now
the Pacific.
We're doing a deep dive with the head of the Carnegie Council and the head of Asia Strategy for Dow Chemical.
And remember, Dow brings good things to life.
And remember, Dow brings good things to life. This is the Michael Brooks Show.
How do we make ourselves look like a giant corporation to Google?
Well, I mean,
that's
think the point
actually
is,
a really good idea.
I think the point is that
we should all have fake mustaches and stuff. Hold on, Google. Let me put you in. This is the head of our marketing department.
Let's just run BMW advertisements that they're not even paying us to run,
that
just
would be
as
great.
if we have.
And today's show is brought to you by Mercedes.
I think they're struggling around to find out what their business model is going to be, and so this is who knows, maybe they'll change it.
This is also obviously it's the business model, but it's also a response to, and I think some of the serious questions that at least I have, all kidding aside, about how they modulate coming out of basically juicing the algorithm in a way that has benefited fascism and the alt-right.
Right.
And so now they're putting everything that's independent in the same bucket, which has always been my concern and I think is already a big problem, particularly if you look at Facebook. And this is why I will say, short of, I think, nationalization, monopoly busting, all these really important policy maneuvers, I think the more granular thing that we could ask, and in some respects, I think an analogy I like a lot more about what role people like us have on YouTube is that we're essentially kind of like Uber drivers in a way that's sort of analogous in terms of if you're a content creator on the platform, particularly if your livelihood depends on it, you're sort of you're a contractor on a platform. Right. I think that's actually a very useful analogy. Obviously, it's not the same as driving Uber. Of course, it's nothing like that in terms of difficulty or anything like that. But it's a worthwhile analogy. The dynamic between you and the company, and the instability of it relative to the platform, and then the notion that there's this kind of fake independence, even though the reality is the entire model depends on something that is totally out of your control. And I would say that, I would just go back to my pitch for, you got to hire human beings to start making some of these decisions journalistically. There needs to be a process that's actually properly analyzed and isn't just algorithm driven.
Well, there's also, it seems to me that what YouTube could do in this specific instance is also allow people to sort of check off a couple of boxes, right?
Surprised they don't do that already, frankly.
It's sort of surprising.
Fit with their whole model.
What kind of things do I want to look at? I want to look at a mixture of independent and corporate media, corporate-owned media. I like stuff from the left from the right. I can even get even more granular in that in terms of, I would like cats over dogs, No,
that's that they should obviously do. It's funny. That's actually, I've created an algorithm for myself that sort of looks like that, I do sometimes like to watch ABC, MSNBC clips to see not to be totally disconnected from dominant news narrative, obviously. And then, of course, I like to watch a lot of like Al Jazeera and German television for the global stuff. And then I watch a selection.
But you work in this business, so you know those different options.
Absolutely. But that would, and I actually think a lot of people that would be a place that they would naturally go to.
I don't know why you don't do
YouTube.
that on Twitter too, for that matter.
Yeah.
But
it's a great
all
idea.
Right. Thank you. You're welcome, Google and Twitter. All you guys. You're welcome.